Our story at the well began in about 2013. We just joined up with our little small group, kind of core team, into the well and started attending and just really started falling in love with diversity and just the different cultures that were represented at the well. And we were sent out to São Paulo, Brazil in 2015, and we've been there for 5.5 years now.
The name of the city, I guess if you're a gringo, you would say
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo, but we don't, if you only speak English, you don't have the sound. I can pretend, but I don't, but it's São Paulo. And the abbreviation of the city is, technically it would be Sampa, but as a gringo, you would say Sampa. But so that's where the idea of Sampa Church came from. It's just an abbreviation for the name of the city. And I think it's really important because we feel called to if it's possible to be called to the entire city of 23 million people, that's what we want to do. It's probably not physically possible, but that's where the idea of the name came from. I think our ministry focus is probably broken up into 3 different categories. There's kind of the church part, Sampa Church, which has a mixture of Brazilians and people from all over the world. I also coach basketball at an international school, and it's a very wealthy school and come from a very high influential demographic. We also work with kids in a drug-infested neighborhood. And so it's interesting, we work with these 2 extreme demographics, extreme wealth and extreme poverty.
I think getting the call, as you would say, is in our married life, Bob always comes to me and says, I have an idea. And that's like a scary moment for me because I'm like such a planner and he's like the risk taker, adventurous. But what's kind of crazy is we've never, in our 33 years of ministry, we've never considered going overseas. And so that was never even on our radar, but he had this idea, what would it look like to go international? And it's the well's fault because we just fell in love with diversity there and just thought, what would it look like to go, to another culture and another country and do this? And so it wasn't something that was like that we had thought of a lot or ever even, but God began to just like plant that in our heart. And so we decided to start looking for a large, diverse city. And that's kind of where São Paulo became a reality. I think now that we've been there 5.5 years, we would probably both say this is the most challenging, humbling, and rewarding thing we've ever done as far as ministry and even as a married couple. We culture shocked and empty nested at the same time, so going crazy, we didn't know which was which. But every day, we know we were supposed to go, we know we were supposed to be there. And, even in the hard times, we've learned, not always been easy, that, God's good no matter what, and He's with us through it all. But it's definitely where God has us for this time.
I think that really the important thing is that people understand that it's kind of everybody's responsibility to be a missionary where you live. And I think we try to communicate that to people, where you live, where you work, and where you play, God can use you. And so take what you already do, your job, your neighborhood, what you like to do for fun. God can use all of those things in your life. Just let Him use them. And don't make it be some special, you got to be a missionary. I think that's dumb. No, you just do what you already do, but do it with a purpose. And that, I think, makes the difference. And so it's not about where you go on a mission trip or being called to be a missionary. I think it's more about, as you live your life, how can God use you? And God can use anything in your life. If He can use my love for basketball to impact somebody, God can use anything. If He can use basketball, He can use anything. So taking what you have, what you experience and what you know, and let God use that. And then If he calls you to another country, that's great. But if he never calls you to another country, you're still a missionary where you live.